Hi, everybody. This is Gigi Durant from Kauai Community College. Today, I am going to talk to you about unit conversion. It is the most useful math topic in pretty much our real life. So I hope you learn from it and enjoy the video. Okay, so unit conversion can be understood as the process of getting an equivalent fraction. That's something that you learned from grade school, right? It means to multiply a quantity by 1 to change the way it looks, but not its value. For example, 2/5, if you multiply that by 1, and the 1 in this case being 3/3, that's your 1, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. And when you multiply fraction, multiply it straight across, so it's 6/15. And we say that 6/15 is equivalent to 2/5 because it just have a different look, but it still represents the same value. And the value doesn't change because, as we know, when we multiply something by 1, um, the answer is still itself, right? Like 3 times 1 is still 3, right? So this, again, 3/3 is our giant 1. That's what I call it. Now, in unit conversion, the giant 1 looks something like this, like 1 pound over 16 ounces. Right, so 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. So when you divide the same quantity by itself, it is 1. So when we are converting 3 pounds to ounces, we are doing this, multiplying by 1. So then pounds divided out with pound, and you get ounces as your leftover unit. So that is going to equal to 3 times 16 when you multiply fractions straight across, and that should give you 48 ounces. Okay, now one may ask, why can't you just multiply and get the answer? Well, a lot of times in real life, our unit conversion is a multi-step process. So when you just multiply or divide, you may not pay attention to your unit and things get pretty complicated. Okay, so here are some tips on using unit conversion. First is for you to decide where your starting point is and where your ending point is. And then if you do not know immediate conversion factors to get from the answer to the beginning to the end, like the first example that you just saw, when we were changing pounds to ounce, right? That's a direct conversion. But if you don't know immediately the conversion factor, you can go through as many intermediate units as you need to get to what you want. So don't worry about how long it's going to take. Let the unit guide you. Okay, so even if you don't understand the problem at first glance, sometimes just like let the unit guide you to the correct calculations, and then you can understand the problem better. Okay, so the most important thing here in unit conversion is to let the units guide your conversion process. All right, so let's see some problems. Reading a book. After reading for 20 minutes, you notice that you have read 8 pages of your book, and the book has 232 pages. All right, that's the scenario. Let's see what the question is asking. If you keep reading at the same rate, how many hours will it take for you to finish the book? Okay, so here again, let's follow the process. What is your starting point and what's your ending point? The question is asking how many hours will it take? So I know I'm gonna have to end in hours, right? So equals the length hours. That's my ending point. Okay, so where am I going to start out with? I am going to start out with, well, how many hours to do what? To finish the book, right? So I'm going to have to start out with the book. And the book is what? The book is 232 pages. Make sense? Right? So here we are going to just go ahead and just plug in the information that we know. Okay, so let's just look at the rate. We want to get rid of pages. So we know down here, we need to have pages there. Okay, what about pages? Well, we know here that in 8 pages will take you 20 minutes to read. Okay, so that's the one that we're going to use to multiply. Then pages divided out with pages. We are now in minutes. And then we are going to get rid of minute because we need to get to hours, right? So what do we know about minutes? We know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. All right, so minutes divided out with minutes. We are now in hour, which is what we want. Okay, so that's the end of the process. Now, how do you get to your final answer? Well, this is just multiplying fractions. So to multiply fractions, you multiply straight across, right? So 232 times 20 times 1. And on the denominator, you have 8 times 60. And you throw that into your calculator. I'm going to grab mine. You should grab yours and try this. 232 times 20 times 1, which I don't need to type, divided by 8, and then divided by 60. And I have 9.66667, which is, to me, I see that as 9 2/3, 9 2/3 of an hour. Now, that seems kind of a weird answer to be saying 2/3 of an hour, right? So let's do a little short conversion so we can answer this as a real life answer, because normally you wouldn't tell somebody, oh, hey, I just read 9 2/3 of an hour, right? So, all right, so what does it mean to have 2/3 of an hour? 2/3 of an hour, and an hour is 60 minutes, right? So you have 2/3 of 60 minutes. So that would be 60 divided by 3 is 20, and 20 times 2 is 40. So here you would say, I have read it for 9 hours and 40 minutes. So it will take you 9 hours and 40 minutes of reading straight, not to count fatigue. And that's going to be hard to be reading straight 9 hours and 40 minutes and to keep that at the same rate, right? So that's not really realistic. In real life, you probably read nightly. So suppose you read like 45 minutes each day, then how many days will it take for you to finish the book? All right, so similar problem, similar process, but here you are going to start again with 232 pages, but you are only reading 45 minutes a day. Okay, so I'm going to start there. Okay, and again, I'm going to want to end in how many days, right? So I want to end in days. So equals blank days. All right, so here we go. What about pages? We know 8 pages and 20 minute, right? So we have pages divided by pages. We are now in minutes. And what about minutes? I am reading 45 minutes in one day. Okay. And so now minutes cancel with minute or divide it out, and you are now in days, which is what you want. Okay, so to do the calculations, we will just say 232 times 20 times 1. And on the denominator, you have 8 times 45. And again, grab your calculator and calculate. 232 times 20 divided by 8 divided by 45. And that would be 1213. Okay. You're not going to say 12.889 pages, right? I mean days, right? You're going to say 13. It's going to take you 13 days to finish that. Okay. This is a fun one. This actually happened. My poor kids having their mother as a math teacher. So my daughter Jessica and I went to Genki Sushi for lunch. This is a long time ago. And she was studying speed and distance, and I think it was 5th grade she was in. And so she said, oh, if we know how long the belt is, then we could calculate the speed, because she had learned that speed equals distance divided by time, right? So yeah, so the math mother and me took out my iPhone to time the belt moving. But I needed a starting point, so I picked, okay, let's just take a look at that Spam sushi plate right there. That's her favorite thing to eat, right? So let's time how long how fast that moved, right? So we saw that the plate moved 12 iPhone phone length distance in 60 seconds. Okay, that's about how far from one end of our table to the other end. And then I know now that an iPhone is 138 millimeter. Okay, Siri would tell me that. And so given this scenario, what is the speed of the belt in meter per minute? Okay, so same thing here. We're gonna say, where is my starting point? Where is my ending point? And I would say we're gonna start with, because it said, what is the speed in meter per minute? So I know I'm gonna end in meter per minute, and I am going to start with the speed, right? Which is 12 iPhone in 16 seconds. So I need to get from there to there. What's next? Well, the easiest thing to do is to deal with the seconds, because I know that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So second, cancel with second. I am now in iPhone per minute, which the denominator is what I want. So that's good. Now I just need to go from iPhone to meter. Well, in the information, it said one iPhone is, the length of that is 138 millimeter. So iPhone here divided by iPhone there, I am in millimeter. And to go from millimeter to meter, milli, right? So that's 1,000. 1,000 millimeter is in 1 meter. meter is on top, and I am at the unit that I want, meter per minute. So now all we have to do is calculate using our calculator. The numerator is all that divided by the denominator, all the numbers there on the denominator. And once we throw that into the calculator, we would see that that belt really is moving at the rate of 6.21 meter per minute. Okay. That is that for today.